For those who are on the fence of joining the military, what would you say to them?
I would say think about why you're thinking about doing it. I think that's important. And honestly, think about the possibility of your why changing. So if you talk to a lot of people that are in the military that are hitting their 10, 15, 20 years, tons of them will say, when I joined, I only planned on being in for 4 years. I just wanted my education. I was going to go, or my parents were kicking me out the house, so I didn't have nowhere else to go. So I was just going to do this for a little bit, get on my feet and then leave. But a lot of them join, some people find a second family. Some people find purpose,
Welcome everybody back to another exciting show, the About That Water podcast, where we help you build strong financial habits, as this show is a lifestyle podcast. So one of the things that I want to talk about is for those of you who follow me and actually are or were in the military, and I think this will be a great discussion to discuss with Darius, who is the owner of Mammoth Budgeting. What are the top 3 things that military people tend to not get about finances, just coming out of basic?
Right. So, and I guess just to quickly give like a little background, I've been in the military for 12 years. Both of my parents were in the Army, and both of them told me not to join the Army. So I joined the Air Force.
Air Force.
Hey, we're working it out. It's been good to me. I feel like I've met a lot of good people. I feel like I wouldn't be where I am today without those people. So with some of those people I met, honestly, I was fortunate enough right when I joined, one of the first supervisors I had decided to pull all of us, all right, it's fine. Don't worry about it. So it's interesting how like little things can have big impacts on people's lives. But yep. If it's people in the military that taught me about credit, people in the military that taught me about home buying, people in the military that taught me about stocks, dividends, interest rates, all that stuff. And then that prompted me to go learn a whole bunch more about myself. So the thing I would love for anybody, as soon as they join the military to know about is probably number one, I guess we'll say TSP, right? Thrift Savings Plan. It's that is your military retirement account. Even if you don't do anything else, just start putting money into there. You get really accustomed to having that money coming out, so you really won't even notice it's gone. Just have that set up, let it come out, let it do that for years. So then it doesn't matter if you have a successful business later on in life, or if your business crash and burns, you'll still have that, in your back pocket. So I think that's a really good thing to have. Number 2, let's say, heck, you already get your life insurance, so that's a big plus. Honestly, it's something to really appreciate, because I think after you get out and you realize like, oh dang, it costs this much for me to get that much life insurance, it'll be a real shocker. So definitely count on that. And then I think I would say the housing. I think all military people have a great opportunity to get a nice stable foot in the real estate game, thanks to the VA loans and the housing stipends that we get. So that's something I definitely push out to everyone. I'm like, hey, sure, renting is easier, but I think there could be a lot of benefits to purchasing a home using your VA loan and, trying to build up a few while you're still in. That'll get you some more residual income after you get out.
Yeah, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, most of the time they can't get off the barracks or the compound until after they like E5. That's correct?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So that's how the Army is, because I still have friends who are still in the barracks now, right? That I graduated with from high school. I'm fortunate enough, again, the Air Force, we can actually move off base and live on our own, as low as like E3s. But the average is like an E4. So yeah, pretty much the general rule is like after you're in for about 3 years, you can go ahead and move off base.
Because I believe with credit cards, I know Amex is kind of the gold standard for a lot of the credit card game out here, right? But also the gold standard for rolling out that red carpet for, perks as well.
For sure.
And one of the things that I came across, because there's like a law put in place, I believe they don't have to pay the annual fee for those that lovely AMX Platinum.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's for like $596 a year.
Yep. No, it's great. Honestly, I think everybody in the military should have them if they are responsible. If you're not responsible with a credit card, probably just pass up on those perks. You know, you got to know yourself. But yeah, I think it's great. The American Express and the Chase, those are probably like the two biggest companies, and as far as credit cards go, and they have, you know, the fees that are somewhere between $400, $500, $600 annually. Being in the military, you can just have those waived. So me, myself, I actually enjoy probably the Chase one more, and just a couple of the perks on that, you know, aside from the fee being waived, it's the lounge, you know, in airports and whatnot. I don't get on planes sober because I don't have to.
Smart man.
I'm not driving anywhere. They're there. The lounges, they just give you drinks until your plane arrives, just cause. So it's a pretty nice perk. And then probably the biggest one that I love is they will give you literally $300 every single year to travel. And that's traveling good. Includes hotels, planes, Uber rides, taxis, you know, so on and so forth. Pretty much anything having to do with travel. And every year it just resets. So every year you get $300. Doesn't matter what you spend it on. When they notice that it was a travel expense, they'll refund your account up to $300. So that's just a great perk, and I definitely use it every year. Fun thing, if you forget about it the first 11 years and you're in December and you're like, oh, I didn't go anywhere this year, I still got $300. Go stay in a nice hotel. Why not? It's there. It's free. It's great perk. You should definitely use it.
All right. Now, what got you into the military in the first place? I know your parents were in the Army, but why even go down that same path after seeing them go through that?
So honestly, I think the biggest reason I joined the military was because of a girl, right?
Fair enough. Fair.
You know, it happens. I was in high school, and then, you know, about to graduate, trying to figure out, do I want to go to college? Do I want to join the military? Do I want to do some trade school? Do I want to sit around the house? Who knows? So I did have a girlfriend at the time, and she was going to college. So I knew that she was going to be focused on the school all the time. She wasn't really going to make too much money. My thought was, well, I could go to college as well, but now we're both just building up debt, not really making that much money. I feel like it would have been harder for us to get out of that later. So I was like, well, let me be the man, right, of the situation. Let me go make the money. I'll just join the military. Now I'm starting to get steady income, so on and so forth. I'll get more money, you know, if we get married, and I can support her while she does her school thing. And then I can use the military to help me go to school later. So that was my thought. So I went ahead, did all the paperwork, signed up, did all the stuff. Honestly, before I even shipped out to go to basic training, we broke up. So that's a thing. Yep.
How old were you when this happened? How old were you when this happened?
I was I 18? I'm 17 or 18.
Okay.
I would say I was 18.
Man.
Yep. Good times. So, but it's fine. I believe I'm one of those people that believes everything happens for a reason. I don't think anything's accidental. So I believe I was supposed to join the military. I believe we were supposed to break up. And I'm in a real good place now. I'm engaged actually to a different woman.
Congrats.
I'm good. Life is good.
Awesome. How long y'all been engaged?
Since December. We went
so
down
y'all new.
Yeah, nope. It's all new. Well, we went down to Florida. We went to Disney World, proposed to her there from the little castle, you know, real bright lights, whole bunch of random people stopped what they were doing and started clapping. I wasn't expecting that part, but it was it was cool. She was real surprised. It was nice.
Awesome. Well, I mean, congrats on the engagement.
Thank you.
Hopefully everything continues to be successful for you as you go through.
Hopefully.
This isn't the end of the show for you guys that are listening, but I just want to say that, coming through, listening to your story and having that breakup and just realizing everything it is for a reason. Do you have any regrets joining the military?
I want to say no. And honestly, and maybe you can help me. I never really, I don't think I really ever understood the concept of like having regrets. Like some people would say like live with no regrets and stuff. Cause it's like, if you have choice A and choice B, which one lets you live with no regrets? Like you can go with B and if it doesn't work, you're like, I should have went with A. And then if you would went with A, same thing. So I was like, I feel like that's not really possible. But I guess the way I take it kind of similar to like what I was saying about everything happening for a reason. Because of that, I feel like I try to live with no regrets. So no, I definitely don't regret joining the military. I wouldn't be the person that I am right now without it. And I believe I'm a pretty amazing person. So I'm good. Everything good is good to me. Everything bad is just a lesson. So I'm good.
Nice. Well, I mean, when it comes to the reason why I asked that question is because some people do feel as though, it's taken away from your family. You're always going to be on travel. Things aren't stable. And then obviously you hear about a lot of the infidelity that happens when you're deployed, or even just in training, because you gotta go for training for 6 months elsewhere or 3 months elsewhere, and then things just slip up or just don't work out. So, and then also it's just seems like a lot happening, especially at a young age. You have a lot coming at you, especially dealing with your MOS or whatever else that you have to go through. That whole process. So I was just wondering, how was your feeling about that? And
Gotcha.
Did you stay local when you joined?
Do I stay local when what?
When you joined, were you able to stay local, or did you have to also travel too?
No. So I'm originally from Georgia. After I joined, basic training was in Texas. Then my learning for my job was in Mississippi. Then my first base was in Oklahoma. Then I went to Afghanistan. Then I came back to Oklahoma. Then I went to Florida. Then I went to Honduras. Then I went to Alabama. And that's where I'm at right now.
Wow. So you already been all over the place already, and I haven't been in
a little bit. I've got to see a couple places. A couple years ago, they sent me to Dubai. So that was pretty neat. Like we lived in the desert area, sleeping in not great facilities, but we got to visit like the cities and stuff. So it was really cool. I got to see like the Grand Mosque. That was probably maybe the most beautiful building I've ever seen in my life. Like it's crazy how pristine it's kept. Like everything is just where it should be at all times. I think a lot of it was handmade inside there. It's just really beautiful.
Yeah. So what has been your favorite perk, I guess, about the military since you joined?
My favorite perk. I don't know, maybe.
I mean,
is it maybe the VA loan?
Okay.
I think. Maybe that's not a.
They give you a lot of perks. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like.
Yeah, and maybe it's possible that I've been in so long that I am numb to them. Like maybe there's like some great perks and I've had them for however many years that I don't even think of them as a perk anymore. That's just a regular, way of life. Honestly, when I go to restaurants, I don't even like asking if they have military discount, if they just randomly just know, because a lot of restaurants are like, yeah, you seem like one of those. You're a military person. Like you got that look.
That look.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I've enjoyed traveling. So yeah, you had asked if I was local. I think that's something that may get overlooked to be grateful for, is that I have been able to leave my hometown, see a whole bunch of different places, a whole bunch of different people. One guy told me I was his first black friend, which
Wow.
sounded real weird, initially, but he was dead serious because he was like, no, the area I'm from, he was like, there are 0 black people. He was like, I did not meet any until I joined the military, which is like just like a little bit of a shock, to me, because obviously if I'm black, I was probably at least around some other black people,
I think so, around that range.
which is
I think
crazy.
the last I heard.
Because it's just obvious that we're minorities, and it's just said a lot and stuff. If it wasn't for it, like any of that, if it was just me going off of what I've seen, I'd have thought we'd at least 50 or 40.
Right.
I just like
Right. But if you think about it, even though we had a small percentage, the amount of jails that are filled up with majority of black people, so you're looking at like 60% in jail. So you gotta go back and forth on that. Like, how do you navigate that at the same time? But it's sad to say it is what it is, but it's like, how do we actually navigate ourselves so that we're not falling into the same traps that a lot of people have fell into? And it's good that you came out the military. Well, you're still in, though, right?
Yep, I'm still in.
Okay. So, with you being in and not being like, there's obviously a lot of knuckleheads everywhere you go, that could wind up inside jail at the same time. So it's like, how do you keep a level head, bouncing between, the military and then also the being inside the civilian space?
So I've mellowed out a lot. When I first joined, I don't know why anymore. I used to try to like fight people a lot. It was a whole thing. I think it was from where I was from and where I was raised at. People would pick on you or see you as a target if you didn't carry yourself a certain way.
Yep.
So because of that environment, I started carrying myself in a more aggressive way, because then it comes off as like, let me not even mess with him. He's already, quick to fight, or an aggressive person. And then I left, where I was from, because I joined the military, and now I'm around all these other people, and we be playing basketball, and I'd be like, man, forget this, man, let's go. And it's like, yo, what's wrong with him? And I had to get out of that mode. So honestly, I think something that's been very helpful for me is, a lot of inward looking, a lot of outward looking, just kind of seeing the world, as it is, and being really accepting of different people and how people have different something through my trials and being in the military has really chilled me out. And I just try to, I wish peace on everybody. I don't, people can push me or something like that. It's just like, I'll just take it that they did it as an accident and keep on pushing with my life. So it's cool.
That's good. I mean, because some of the people will have kids that are like really aggressive. I won't say aggressive, but more so just short-tempered. Would you recommend the military of any branch as an option for them, or what do you think? It's so leave it up to the child?
I mean, ultimately be up to the child, but I think it could work, because it'd probably break down. It'd probably reveal to that child or person what it is that is making them angry, right? Because if it's stuff that's maybe like about them and stuff they could have controlled or something, but they weren't in an environment that allowed them to do that, then maybe leaving that area, being around different people, being around, different scenarios where no one is doing that, and now they're the outlier, because it's like, yo, why are you mad all the time? Like, why are you tripping? Being in that surrounding, being in that area could, help them break free of that kind of stuff. So I think it's a good try. I guess I'd say I'm a decent enough advocate, for the military. Like a lot of people will, complain about it and say this and this is bad. And sure, there's some bad stuff, but I think every job probably has its bad stuff. So true. I don't try to be like, nope, it's just the military that has all these terrible things. It's like, nah, just there's a lot of that outside of it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just you and how you react to stuff.
Okay. For those who are on the fence of joining the military, what would you say to them?
I would say think about why you're thinking about doing it. I think that's important. And honestly, think about the possibility of your why changing. So if you talk to a lot of people that are in the military that are hitting their 10, 15, 20 years, tons of them will say, when I joined, I only planned on being in for 4 years. I just wanted my education. I was going to go, or my parents were kicking me out the house, so I didn't have nowhere else to go. So I was just going to do this for a little bit, get on my feet and then leave. But a lot of them join, some people find a second family. Some people find purpose, if I'm being honest, I'm not super gung ho about the military or, I don't run around screaming America all the time, but I love the people. I love having troops. I love having people come in and I get to teach them. No, don't do that. Do this, do this. Cause it's not even just military stuff. A lot of them come in, right out of high school. So, I mean, I've had younger people put diesel in their Toyota Camry.
Oh no.
For some reason. Yep. And then I was like, what the heck happened to your car? And they're like, I thought it would give me better gas mileage. I was like, you thought it would give you better? This is a real life story. And, just from that, I'm teaching them how to change tires. Just a whole bunch of life stuff, how to purchase your first car, the TSP thing, how to set up an allotment to go to your savings. Like I love talking to all these people and trying to tell them stuff that they didn't know about, try to be in their corner when they're struggling with stuff. All of that stuff gives me purpose. So it's, I can say that I love being in the military, and I think people will just think like, oh, he loves shooting guns or going overseas or waving flags. And it's like, there can be other things within it that you fall in love with.
What is it that you feel has been important to you thus far that could actually take you to that next level?
Patience. Recently, patience has, and I think we all know patience is good, but it's really been showing itself to me like over the past year. I just through investments, there's some stuff I put money in, and it had been like a month and it's down 25, 30%, and I'm freaking out. I was like, I just lost all of this money. But I was like, nope, just close that app. Don't worry about it. You have it for the next 2 years. Just wait a bit, and like now I'm up, I'm positive like 30 or something like that. So it's like clear example, patience, stop freaking out over stuff. I recently opened like an Airbnb, and I don't, for anybody that's like ever done something like that before, when you list it and you're picking your price, you'll pick a price and then you just sit there and it's like, when's somebody gonna book it?
Right.
And you're like, do I need to lower it? Is that the reason it hasn't been booked yet? And you're just sitting there and it's like, if I sit here too long, I'm gonna start losing money because it's that empty house that's just sitting there. And it's only been 2 days. So It's not a reason, but to you, the person waiting on the payment or something, is forever. And I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, I really feel like I need to lower this. Maybe I need to put a discount in or something like that. And I ended up really trying to lean into my patience. And then eventually it did get booked. More recently, somebody decided to, a company reached out to me and told me they wanted to put some supervisor in that building and they want them to stay there for a year. And I was like,
well, that's my price.
Oh, okay. Sure. Now I could have lowered my price and had some other random people do little 2-3 day, stunts in there. And it's possible I could have missed this 1 year opportunity, but because of patience and me just letting that price sit there and just being okay with a couple days going by with me not having anyone booking it, I was then rewarded with, a nice long-term person.
You can't beat that.
You can't.
Not at all. So, because now that you've taken on this new venture, but you're also doing counseling on the side, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Talk about doing both or talk about the counseling?
The counseling.
So the counseling is my dream. Like I've always been a person who just does random stuff for money, right? A hustler, grinder, whatever you want to call it. Just because I always wanted to amass wealth so that I can take care of my family. That's always been my driving force. Everything I do, I have no desire to get a Lamborghini or have, a castle or anything like that. I always wanted to have more than enough money to take care of my wife and whoever my kids are. And, I just got engaged a couple months ago. So, I had this mindset before I had a wife or kids. Right. Yes, counseling and real estate. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life. All this other stuff, I definitely will cut it off and clear it because it's just taking up more time. I am in the military. I have another 8 years and then I'll retire. And after that, I plan on doing financial counseling, financial coaching, just until the day I die. Because I truly enjoy it. I would do it for free. So yes. I gotta you gotta
eat too, right? You gotta eat too.
It's been a lot of learning for me. So just in my past, I've helped tons of people with their finances because people just realize, oh, this guy reads a lot of money stuff, talks about a lot of money stuff. Let me ask him all my questions, which is fine. I had no problem answering everybody's stuff. And I had enough people tell me that, hey, this was really great. You should charge for this. And I was finally like, okay, I'm going to start charging for it. So I'm trying to turn it into a business. There's so much to do.
It is.
There's
Nobody
so much
talks about it.
there's so much to do, so many systems to figure out and then put in place, and the advertisements to try to get people in and then keep people in, but still innovating. It's a lot. So I consider myself still to be in a learning position. I'm pretty decent with budgeting and savings, and I have a whole bunch of tips and tricks to try to, help people do that stuff better. But the actual business portion of it all and making it a successful business, I've definitely been struggling with. It's a lot of learning. Yeah,
I bet. Well, I've been there. So if you ever have any questions, we can always chop it up.
For sure.
And just keep me posted. So before we dive into the final 4 questions, is there anything else you want to say to the audience before we dive into that?
Sure. What is it? So my business's name is Mammoth Money Mindset. My target audience are people 30 plus. And that's just because I feel like them first 10 years, 20 to 30, a lot of people want to do stuff themselves, right? They're like, nah, I got it. I don't need to do all that. I'm going to do this and this, and then I'm going to be rich. I'm like, hey, you go do that. You kill it. But I would say normally probably about, post 30, then I can talk to people and I'm like, all right, so how did you do during your first, decade of adulthood? What are your savings looking like? What investments do you have? What assets do you have? What do you have to show now that's different from, when you were 18? And a lot of people, sad to say, don't have anything that's different. They'll have a different job. But as far as things to show for it, assets, like anything tangible, they're still in the same spot that they were technically, when they were 18. They're just check to check in a different house, with a different car. So hopefully I try to catch people at that point and it's like, cool, Doesn't mean you're bad. Doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. Tons of people go through that. Let's try to be open to assistance. I've been studying these and these things. I feel like you just need like someone to help you, someone to help keep you accountable, give you a couple tips on, what to do with your money, maybe where to put it. And then you can hit those goals that you've been wanting to hit. So that's where I come in at. That's where I'm trying to, gather people and build a client base and hopefully a community of a whole bunch of people that just want to grow themselves financially and just be better at life and vacations and all of that.
Yeah. All right. You ready for the final four?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Number one, what does wealth mean to you?
To me, wealth means, is it cliche to say freedom? That's fine. We're going to say freedom.
All right.
But I guess my version of freedom is, like I said, I would like to be able to give my family, my wife and whatever kids I end up having, whatever they want. It doesn't mean that I'm going to give them whatever they want because, there's some balances between that. But I want to have the ability to give them whatever they want. Yeah, that's what I'll be wealthy if I can do that.
Okay. Number two, what was your worst money mistake?
Worst money mistake, besides getting engaged. No, I'm joking. No. My worst, probably, losing, what was it, $25,000 in the stock market, something like that. Yeah, I'd probably say that's the worst. Yep. It's just, and that was just me being young. I just started learning what stocks even were that same year. And I thought I was doing something because I was making like $1,000 a day. And I was like, oh, this is great. I'm going to be rich forever. And, then reality hit and them stocks started dropping. And my money was dropping with them, but then I was scared because I had already lost 5,000. I was like, oh, let me just leave it until it goes back up. Then I lost 10, then I lost 15, then I lost 20. And I was like, this is not going back up. So I finally, cut my losses and pulled out. But yeah, I'd say that's probably my biggest financial mistake.
Have you went back and looked at that stock to see where it's at today?
I do every now and then. I mean, what was it? I think it was Overstock.
Mm-hmm.
So I think now I know that it's a,
that's how you do. Could pull like out of that one in.
Like a furniture type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time I had no idea what Overstock was.
Yeah.
I think that that company probably had like a lot of ties and investments in Bitcoin. So as Bitcoin was booming, that stock was also booming. So when that started to drop off, the stock dropped off, and that's how I lost all my money.
Yeah. Sorry.
Hey, it's all lessons.
Yep. All right. Number three, what is your favorite financial or non-financial book?
Which one was my favorite? That was good. So
many.
The first one that I read was Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? Mm-hmm. And that's when because I've never been a reader ever. Books and me have never been a thing. But I was able to get through that book, and that's when I realized I was like, I'm just not good at reading books I think are useless. So I can really get into books that I think are going to help me, reach whatever goals that I want to reach. So I read maybe like 8 to 10 last year, and I'm hoping to read more this year. Oh, there are a lot of good books.
Yeah.
Like most of the good ones are either on finance or on like mentality. But let's go with maybe The Psychology of Money.
That is an amazing book.
It's a really good one.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he said some stuff that I feel like I had already known, but just him saying it again, I'm just like, yeah, okay. Because I think he actually switched my investment strategy because throughout the book, he just keeps hitting on like, nobody knows where it's going. Experts don't know. I don't know.
Right.
Just put it in this stuff. This stuff grows by this much. Just do that. Just do that the whole time. Don't try to pick no mega winners. Don't try to do this and this. He's like, real simple. Just put your stuff in this. You just do that for a long amount of time and you'll just end up being rich. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that. So, yep. Now I'm just putting my money in simple stuff. I'm still a human, so I'll still do, a couple like small options here or there, but I got a good, 80-90% of my money just in safe stuff that's just going to go up slowly over the years.
Right. And plus you're already in your TSP anyway, so you got multiple
gotta have that.
Yeah.
Gotta have that fallback. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that's the thing. When I was like a few years ago, I actually like canceled my TSP. Like I stopped contributing to it. So I could contribute more, just to like the single stocks I was putting my money into. Cause I'm like, well, TSP is only making me this much money a year. If I do this, I can make this and this much money a year. Right. Mm-hmm. Which I get. And I've had many people tell me, younger, like, nah, you don't get it. This and this TSP only gives you this. I made 20 or 40% off of this. I made 200% last week. I was like, I hear you. I get that. But it's about security. It's about playing defense. It was like, you can have all the greatest offense you want. You don't got defense, you're going to get knocked over the head and it's all going to be gone. Yeah. So I started it back up. I do contribute to TSP every month and I'm just going to continue to do that. And I'll do that. Whatever else I want to do outside of that, that can be on me. So like I said, even if all of that goes awry, I'll still have the TSP in my back corner.
Yeah.
I went and took a loan from my TSP to make the payments to start my Airbnb, which is actually phenomenal. Like I don't know if anybody's ever like taken a loan out of somewhere or asked somebody for money to buy real estate, but it takes forever. It's a ton of paperwork, lots of back and forths, and then they'll still wait a couple months before giving you the money. The TSP, I probably the longest thing that took was if you're putting a new account on there, they make you wait a week because it's a new account. But outside of that, you request the money, it's there like a couple days later. Wow. Like they just threw like $30,000 into my checking account, and I was like, sorry to hear. I was like, that's how it works. I just asked for it. They're like, yep, do this, pay it back at this rate. And the rate is lower than whatever Navy Federal was offering for HELOCs and all that stuff. And I was just like, okay. So yeah, quick money, like, great rate. It's phenomenal. And it's your retirement. So it's just going to be sitting there until you're old anyway. So if you can dip into it to better yourself financially, heck yeah.
All right. I like it. And number 4, which is, what is your favorite dish to make?
My favorite dish, like food?
Yeah.
I make a really good, like, Cajun shrimp lobster pasta. Like, I've always loved, like, baked pasta. Like, stuff, you get it, all the cream, all the cheese, all the stuff, then you throw it in the oven, let it bake up. Yeah, so I'll do that with some little lobster bites and some shrimps and just put them in a whole bunch of seasoning and whatever, then throw that in the A1.
Phenomenal. What kind of noodles are you using?
What did I use for those? Penne.
Penne.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so I can get the full visuals. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just wanted to see.
Nope. It's definitely a whole bunch of the penne noodles, some mozzarella cheese, some Parmesan, some I feel like I used another third one. And then secret ingredient that's slept on is what my mom uses in her macaroni. Campbell's makes a cheese soup.
Cheese?
They make it's in a can with all the soups, but it's a cheddar cheese soup. It's just a can of cheese soup. Mm-hmm. That's the secret ingredient in her macaroni. Because, obviously you still use all the other, actual regular cheeses and stuff like that. But when you're making a sauce,
yeah,
the cheese soup in there, a little dash of mustard, forget about it.
Yeah, I just had to look it up right quick. I was like, all right, this looks
yeah, because I bring that up to people and they're like, cheese soup? What are you talking about? I'm
like who?
Yeah, it's cheese soup.
I didn't even know it's a thing.
A lot of stores don't have it. It's kind of irritating sometimes when I'm trying to find it. I think I went online a couple months ago and like just bought a few, and I just have it in my pantry just for whenever I need it.
I learn something new every time I do an interview with somebody. This is great.
It's good.
Never had a cheese soup. Man. All right. Well, I'll try to get a can or two of these if I ever see it in the store.
Do it.
All right. Cool. So the very last question of the podcast, which is, where could people find out more about you?
People can find out more about me on, I have a YouTube channel. It's Mammoth Money Mindset. On YouTube, you'll see a picture of me there. And then I also have Instagram, Mammoth _ money _ mindset. And then I also have my personal Instagram is the financial philosopher.
Okay.
Yep. And you go on any of that stuff, you'll find me. If you want to just go straight to my website, it's mammothmoneymindset.com. Just Mammoth Money Mindset, wherever you feel like typing it in at, and you should find something about me. Open to any inquiries from anybody. My first session with anybody is always free, so we can get into it, talk about what you're going through, see if it's possible for me to help you. And I think I'm a pretty approachable guy.
You seem pretty approachable.
Good.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Darius, I wanted to say that it's been a pleasure have you on the show to talk about your story, talk about your mindset, and all the things that you've been going through, definitely within the Air Force, and what you're constantly contributing to the community, whether or not it's through your education, providing space for somebody to live through Airbnb once the company is done with it. And also, congrats again on your engagement. And I wish you all the best. And everybody else, thank you so much for sticking it out through the end and actually making sure that you were able to get something out of this. So if you did, share it with somebody, like it, subscribe, leave a comment below. And also, most of the resources, if not all of the resources that we talked about, will be inside the show notes. So just in case you just forgot what we were talking about, you can always rewind it. I'm not going to stop you. So, all right, everybody. Y'all be safe. I'm out. Peace.